Preface to the 1917 edition of the Collected Plays of Oscar Wilde by Robert Ross. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Silence. Preface by Robert Ross. As to my personal attitude towards criticism, I confess in brief the following. If my works are good, and of any importance whatever for the further development of art, they will maintain their place in spite of all adverse criticism, and in spite of all hateful suspicions attached to my artistic intentions. If my works are of no account, the most gratifying success of the moment, and the most enthusiastic approval of as augurs cannot make them endure. The waste paper press can devour them, as it has devoured many others, and I will not shed a tear. And the world will move on just the same. Richard Strauss. The contents of this volume require some explanation of an historical nature. It is scarcely realized by the present generation that Wilde's works, on their first appearance, with the exception of De Profundis, were met with almost general condemnation and ridicule. The plays on their first production were grudgingly praised, because their obvious success could not be ignored, but on their subsequent publication in book form they were violently assailed. That nearly all of them have held the stage is still a source of irritation among certain journalists. Salome, however, enjoys a singular career. As everyone knows, it was prohibited by the censor when in rehearsal by Madame Bernard at the Palace Theatre in 1892. On its publication in 1893 it was greeted with greater abuse than any other of Wilde's works, and was consigned to the usual irrevocable oblivion. The accuracy of the French was freely canvassed, and of course it is obvious that the French is not that of a Frenchman. The play was passed for press, however, by no less a writer than Marcel Schwob, whose letter to the Paris publisher, returning the proofs and mentioning 2 or 3 slight alterations, is still in my possession. Marcel Schwob told me some years afterwards that he thought it would have spoilt the spontaneity and character of Wilde's style if he had tried to harmonize it with the diction demanded by the French Academy. It was never composed with any idea of presentation. Madame Bernard happened to say she wished Wilde would write a play for her. He replied in jest that he had done so. She insisted on...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?